My name's Mike, and I'm with the local Asmira distributor. I shouldn't say local, but we actually handle about 7 states throughout the Midwest, and I'm out of Menominee, Wisconsin. So here at Paw Prints today to kind of go over some of the holistic ways of keeping your pet healthy with the prevention of heartworm and the flea and tick control, and how we can control some of the allergy-related symptoms that come about. Most of the stuff that I'll discuss today will be outlined in the 3 Simple Steps book that the author, Dr. Newman, who is the founder of Asmira, wrote. Most, if not all of the information will be discussed is in this book. And Maureen does have the book here, is available for sale. And our product guide booklet that's out front also covers the majority of our information that we'll give you as you leave.
Just a quick note before you start. If you sit down, if you want to sit on that side, that'd be perfect. Then I won't have to move anything.
Sit on this side?
Yeah.
I'll stand.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Thank you. It'll be fine.
A lot of what we talk about at Asmira, and I'll try to put it kind of can crisscross and overlap. So you'll notice some things that intertwine. If you're familiar with holistic type of protocols, then you're familiar with that. If not, it may be something new. One of the biggest things we talk about with Asmira, especially with pets, is a real clean diet. It's so important to have that. A pet, pets that don't live a healthy or a holistic type lifestyle are more prone to pests such as fleas and ticks, and those things, they actually can become a host to the parasites. So one of the first things I want to talk about today is heartworm prevention. And what we have with Asmira, we have a Giardia and parasitic detox is one of the things that we use, and it's used twice a year. It's used as a prevention. If your pet's already been exposed to worms, then we do have a herbal wormer that can be used as a dewormer. But the Giardia and parasitic detox is used in the spring of the year for 6 weeks, and then it's also given the last month of mosquito season as far as for the fall detox. Now, if you're in an area that's has a lot of mosquitoes, you can be given all season long, which mosquito season, which would be basically our spring to fall. It's 1 drop per 5 pounds is the dosage, and then it's 3 to 4 times a day, and it is a liquid extract that can mix with warm water or like an organic type apple juice, and used with like a feeding syringe and given to the pet. If it can be given with food, but we prefer that you double the dose, so that it loses its strength when you do that. So, but actually, that is what we use to replace some of the heartworm medication that's out. And the reason we go with that is that the medication, or what I would say, the poison that goes into the pet, and basically what it does is as it gets into the pet, the mosquito comes and flies around and bites the pet, and then the mosquito dies, from the poison that's inside the pet. Well, that actually can cause or burden the pet's immune system, and actually cause cancers and things like that, and even in long term, it can actually cause death. So that's on the holistic side or the healthy side, where we would say, do your best to stay away from those type of medications. We also have Paraclear. This is diatomaceous earth. It's basically ground up fossil, and this is used. It can be used on the pet. It's a food grade versus a pool grade, but it can be basically eaten or licked by a pet, and it won't cause them any harm. But it can be used. It can be used like for ants, roaches around the house. But for the mosquito side of it, what we use it for is like if you have stagnant water, try to avoid that around your property. But this can be used then to sprinkle where the wet areas are to actually prevent the mosquitoes from hatching or producing, and killing off the eggs. So.
And you want to be sure to not use non-food grade, because that can be toxic to all living things, whereas the food grade is not. So it's a very big difference. You don't want to just use something you put in a pool.
Yep. And one of the other things that we suggest with heartworm prevention is doubling the dose of the garlic daily aid. And again, some of this will overlap with the flea and tick control also. So.
I use that on Duncan every year.
Topically, with that, and again applies to the fleas and ticks as well, but for heartworm or to repel a mosquito, you can go ahead and use the neem dip and or the neem spray. The neem spray is used as a daily type protocol, every day to every other day, but it's recommended like when you go out for walks. You can spray the paw areas, the hind quarter areas, the areas that the pet may, get themselves close. But for mosquitoes mainly, you can kind of cover the whole body, just kind of keep away from the eyes. And then the dip is actually given after a shampoo is done every 6 weeks, and that is it's 2 to 4 ounces per gallon of water. And basically, what you do after your shampoo, you use it as a rinse. You kind of saturate the dog with the liquid that you did with the 2 to 4 ounces, depending on the size of the dog, with the warm water, and you kind of just get them all full of the dip and then just squeegee them off and let them air dry. And then again, the same protocol would be the same for fleas and ticks as well. So, any questions on that stuff as far as for the?
Does it keep the ticks off completely, or do they bite at all?
I'll talk more about it, but
Okay.
it's designed to prevent that, yes.
Okay.
But again, I'll talk here in a few minutes about how getting on the inside of the pet to kind of prevent the pet from being a host to fleas and ticks as well. But yes to that question. But some dogs who have lived maybe more of a toxic life.
Are more susceptible?
Yeah. So
Definitely.
that would be just more of a preventive in that case, and we'd actually then maybe want to attack it from the inside and get the underlying issues out of the way, and that would where I would talk more about the detoxification of the pets. So again, covering with the heartworm, going on to the fleas and ticks. One of the things that we talk a lot about with Asmira is the detoxification of the, and that would be basically cleaning up the kidneys and the liver, and basically, where the filtering of the blood is, and where the waste products are produced and eliminated from the pet. But a holistically, raised pet is more apt to not be, be a host for fleas and ticks. So one of the things that for a pet that maybe has been on has lived a toxic lifestyle or has been exposed to maybe lower quality diets, or has had a lot of vaccinations and medications, or chemically for the chemicals for the fleas and ticks, like the products that are out there right now, they can actually become a host to the fleas and ticks. So what we do in that, if people still choose to use like a chemical-based flea and tick preventative, we actually have what we call a milk thistle. And the milk thistle is used 48 hours prior to that dosage and about 4 to 6 weeks after the dosage to help detoxify the liver. And then there's also a skin of Liviplex that has the milk thistle in it also that can be used. The milk thistle again can also be used for like pets that they have their teeth cleaned but they're put under. So the same manner for like anesthesia and things like that, or if they're going in for surgery, we would recommend using the milk thistle then to also detoxify the liver. So.
Is that just one treatment just before the?
No, the treatment would be 48 hours prior to,
Okay.
and similar.